Hello and welcome back to Skyrim. So last time we finished up our excursion to Labyrinthian, dealing with Morokai and getting our hands on the Staff of Magnus here. And then after that, Morris had a little bit of an excursion to the swamp where he created his first spell. If you watch that narrative video, following some of Thalian's advice and using some of the ancient magics in those stones to expedite the process. So let me show you the spell specifically now, because I didn't go into detail before. So this is Morris's Curse of the Withering Soul. Now this right here is going to be part of my spell mod forever at this point. So when my spell mod is eventually released, you will be able to use this spell as well. And it's named for Morris because he made it. So the precise details of it is it's an adept level conjuration spell. And what it does is the caster temporarily sacrifices 50 points of their maximum health to inflict a curse on the target. This will last for 48 hours. Humanoid targets take 5 points of damage per second for 60 seconds as their soul attacks itself. So basically it's slow damage that's applied. It will do 300 points of damage, and there's a sacrifice from the caster that lasts for a significant length of time in the process of doing that. And the point of this is if you're like in an emergency against a humanoid enemy, say that you're going up against somebody who you cannot beat in a desperate act, you can cast a spell and it will deal 300 damage to them over time. You just have to survive, kind of like an oh shit moment, a last resort that you can pull. And yeah, a little peek behind the curtain is that I am intending to make a whole series of curse spells, and this one is going to be the weakest of them. Curses are going to have powerful effects with a sacrifice from the caster involved. Now, all of these numeric values are subject to change because it's a work-in-progress mod, and I'm willing to take feedback from the comments as well. But this is how the spell is going to appear for now, and we are going to have plenty of time to playtest it. And now, I'm just going to go back into the inn really quickly before we head back to the College of Winterhold and warm up. I did my intro out here because it's a little bit hard to get a moment of quiet in that inn. So yeah, I'm going to just pause the recording and do that real quick. Actually, since it looks like Lurbuck is still asleep, I can actually go into a little bit more of detail with what I'm planning. So Morris made this spell. Basically, he just wants to kill Encano and survive. So he's going to cast this on Encano, and his plan is to just let the curse do its thing. And yeah, he's hoping that that will be the edge that he needs in combat against Encano. Because right now, the past couple dungeons really don't have any sort of... What the fuck was I just saying? The last few dungeons have been indicators that he is not ready for proper combat yet. He's a bit less competent than he thought he was going into them because of how many near-death scrapes we've had. So yeah, let's go back to Winterhold now because we have to stop in Kano and we have to take a chance with this spell because we've not had a chance to test it yet. Because of the nature of the spell. If we were to test it, we would have to sacrifice some of our health, and thus we'd be confronting Encano with in a weakened state. If you didn't watch the last video, the narrative one, called Getting an Edge, I suggest that you do. I actually put quite a bit of time into editing it, like an hour for that 4-minute video. Not because it's anything spectacular, I recognize it's not fantastic editing. I am a noob at editing. That's why it took me so long, and why I'm kind of proud that I put it together, even though it's not the best and I can recognize it. And yeah, that was an important moment in Morris's story, because Morris has basically demonstrated to himself that he is willing to pay a pretty steep price in order to advance his power. That being sacrificing vitality in this case. Yeah, once we're done with this, I'm not going to continue using the Staff of Magnus because we get a pretty nice buff to Magicka from just wielding the Staff of Uric Galderson. And once we get a staff that has a more useful effect to us and we have enough Magicka to confidently cast spells more frequently, I'm going to replace it. But for now, we're just going to be sticking to the Staff of Uric Galderson. In fact, I'm going to re-equip it before we get to the college, so that if we encounter anything on the road, I can kill them much more effectively. Sorry about the sudden look up. I bumped my mouse when I was pressing the mute button for my microphone. Looks like there might be a skirmish going on ahead. Imperials in what looks like Stormcloaks. Yeah. Let's just keep our distance. We don't want to be hit by a stray arrow. If we just stick to this place, we won't have to worry about getting shot. Somebody just got pretty horribly executed. That was a pretty nasty sounding slash. I am heading the right way, right? Yeah, I am. This is towards Dawnstar. In fact, we can cut across country a little bit so we don't need to adhere to the road so strictly. Probably best because we will get pretty cold if we do that. As was evident by the fact that Morris was very cold by the time I was done with the little video intro. Don't mind me just occasionally taking in the sights. Don't always have something to say to fill in the silence, so I just look around. I've modded my game to look good, so I'm going to appreciate it, goddammit. Yeah, this is the same route that we took to the first time we went to the College of Winterhold. So we know where to go, and this time we also have Waterwalking, so we can, if we want to, we can just walk along the surface of water and potentially avoid wildlife like wolves and such. In fact, I'm going to get that spell ready. It's nice to be able to walk on the surface of water. I do not know why Skyrim abandoned that effect and made it specific to the Dragonborn DLC. In fact, there are a lot of magic effects that Skyrim abandoned that I really don't like the fact that they abandoned. And in fact, those are the basis for some of the spells that I have introduced in my spell mod. Effects that were present in earlier games, such as Mark and Recall, Waterwalking, that kind of stuff. In fact, what's our Conjuration level? We are 36, so we're still a little bit of ways off of getting Mark and Recall, because that's a Conjuration spell in my mod. A lot of people make it Alteration, I think because it used to be Mysticism, but I very much disagree with that classification. I think that the idea of a spell that teleports you is Conjuration through and through. Because it's the principle of taking something from somewhere and then teleporting it somewhere else. And that's pretty heavily Conjuration sphere. Now, of course, Conjuration has a little bit extra, such as when you're summoning an Atronach or Daedra, or even an Undead with the skeleton spells I made in my mod. There's a part of the incantation that binds whatever you're summoning to your command. Now, the Mark and Recall spell obviously does not do that part, because you don't want the caster to be bound to somebody else's command. That'd be a little bit awkward. But the fundaments of being taken from one place and transported to another are still very prevalent. I should keep Waterwalking equipped because in my mod, Waterwalking has a short duration and low cost to cast. Reason for that is because in previous mods with Waterwalking effects that I have tried, something that always bothers me is that you have to wait a really long time for Waterwalking to wear off if you want to swim again. So I like having it have a short duration, make it cheap to cast so that you can easily reapply it, so that the short duration is not a problem. And if you need to swim, suddenly you don't have to wait very long. So yeah, that's my reasoning for doing that. In fact, this walk back to Winterhold, there's been a lot of talk about my reasonings for the way certain spells work in my spell mod. So I hope you enjoy that little peek behind the curtain. There's the college. It looks like it's still standing, so Ancano hasn't leveled the place. Morris is hoping that he was correct in assuming that the professors there can hold off Incarno for a little bit longer while he took an extra day to create his spell. Which, considering his Conjuration level, being level 36, and the fact that he rushed the creation of a spell that is an Adept level, and thus technically out of the range of what he should be able to cast, things may or may not go a little bit awry. But you'll just have to see. You'll find out in this video. In fact, the keen-eyed amongst you might have already noticed something about the spell, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Feel free to try to figure it out if you think that you can. It might even be fairly obvious to some people who pay attention to certain details, but yeah. Okay, we don't need Waterwalking anymore. In fact, we're going to apply a Mage Armor spell so that we're ready in case something comes out to attack us. Still not seeing any signs of destruction from Incarno, so that is a good sign. Sabercats, or mud crabs as I called them in the past. That was such an amusing thing to edit. In fact, fun fact, that was the thing that caused me to reteach myself how to edit. Just adding that little text to make fun of myself. You don't care that I just killed your friend? Huh. Well, they went down easy at least. Okay, stop the combat music, game. It was a very anticlimactic fight, so no need to hype it up. Here's Sarthal. It's been a while since we've been there, although we don't need to go there. I'm gonna reapply my mage armor because I saw it wear off. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, like, I hinted at this, but I didn't plainly say it, but if you saw the community post on my channel's community tab a while ago that said that I spent an hour editing a 4-minute video, I was very much talking about... Sorry, I'm also focusing on the enemies. I was very much talking about the Getting an Edge video. Are these bandits? Should I be helping them? My skeleton seems to think that they are hostile. So I'm gonna trust Magnus and hope that I didn't just murder an innocent man. Yeah, he looks like a bandit, alright. Fancy necklace. I will be taking that for selling purposes. Anything on you? No, nothing really. And how about the one Magnus killed? Let's see what you have. Gold, a ring, silver ingot. You know what, I think I'm going to start taking these, because as I said, Morris is a little bit interested in learning jewelry craft. Because jewelry craft and enchanting go hand in hand quite well. There goes Magnus. And I'm going to equip the Staff of Magnus now. Speaking of Magnus. I mean, the college looks fine, although I'm seeing some swirling magic going on. Perhaps another one of those barriers? I mean, if Incarno is just putting up barriers, that's not terrible. Let's just hope that nobody's dead. Oh yeah, and I know I edited this into a past video, but I fixed that horrible flickering. I installed a parallax texture. I sometimes install texture mods because they don't have an ESP or anything, so they're pretty safe to add and remove mid-game. And I unintentionally let it overwrite part of Simplicity of Snow, and that's what was causing that. Yeah, that's definitely a barrier. And I see Tolfdir and... is that Sergius? Arniel. Feralda.
You survived. You have it then? Let's hope it's
Yep,
as powerful as the Sigics believe it to be.
Where is Mirabelle? She didn't look so good last time I was here. Did she make it?
She didn't make it.
I see.
When it was clear we were going to have to fall back, she stayed behind and made sure the rest of us were all right.
And this is a very dumb question because the answer is quite obvious. So let's just get in there.
I'll be right behind you.
All right. So I guess just... Yep. That took down the barrier. All right. Let's get this ready. Actually, I shouldn't have done that because Nkano's going to be using magic. We have our curse ready as well. Let's hope that nothing goes awry because of how we rushed this.
I don't know what you're up to. You think I can't destroy you? The power to unmake the world at my fingertips. And you think you could do anything about it?
Are you gonna cast your spell? Oh, that's the Eye of Magnus I've selected. Sorry about that.
You cannot touch me.
The stab! Use it on the eye!
Enough! Still you persist? Very well. Come then. See what I can do now. What was now mine?
That doesn't look good. Okay, let's get the skeletal minion out real quick. And I think he's vulnerable now. Ow. I mean, Nkano's dead, but that didn't feel very good. I don't have much left in me, Tolfdir. Try not to hit him. Hold still. Oh. Apparently we are now adept at destruction. Okay. Ow. 90 points. That is much higher than I had intended, and ooh, that was a very catastrophic effect. Much more powerful than I intended. Ow! Are you okay, Tolfdir?
I knew you could do it.
Yeah, just about. Nearly died in the process. What do we do now?
I don't know. Nkano is gone. But whatever he's done to the eye doesn't seem to have stopped. I have no idea what to do.
Hi?
We knew you would succeed. Your victory here justifies our belief in you. You have proven yourself more than worthy to guide the College of Winterhold.
That's nice. How did you know I would be able to defeat Nkano? It wasn't exactly the most adept in combat up until now, and in fact my edge kind of backfired a little bit.
A great many things obscured to you are quite clear to us. We have long believed you would prevail.
You could have at least given me a warning about my spell if you were able to see into the future like that. But yes, what do we do now?
The Eye has grown unstable. It cannot remain here, or else it may destroy your college and this world. It must be secured. Onkano's actions prove that the world is not ready for such a thing. We shall safeguard it. For now. You now have the opportunity to maintain your college and carry on with your lives. You have our gratitude, Archmage.
Magical mishaps are painful.
You've done it. The college is safe again thanks to your work. I knew you had it in you. I dare say the Psijics are right. There's no one more deserving to be Archmage, in my opinion. Here, consider these yours, and the Archmage's quarters as well. I shall be here for advice, should you need me.
I'm flattered, although I'm honestly not certain I'm the right person for the job, but I'm not in much of a state to argue at the moment. Inkano. That's a nice looking sword. I'll be having that. And your robes too. And now Morris is going to go up to his new quarters, his Archmage quarters, because he's in pain and he needs to recover for a couple days. And if you couldn't tell, yes, I scripted that whole sequence that happened with casting the spell, the explosion, the fade out, and then Morris getting up. I coded all of that in the creation kit. Because you can do that kind of stuff when you know how to make mods and you want to make a cinematic mishap for your magic. But don't worry, when the spell mod is eventually released, the spell is not going to behave like that. That was just for the just for the whatchamacallit? Just for the mishap. That's the word I was looking for. In fact, Morris is going to be taking these 2 days of recovery while he has 40 hit points and thus isn't really in a state to do any adventuring. He's going to take those 2 days to study his incantations and try to figure out what went wrong, so that he can prevent future mishaps should he use the spell again. So yes, that's it for this episode. I understand it might be a little bit of a shorter episode. I'm actually not sure. Looking at my timer, I had to stop the recording briefly and restart it because the magic anomaly decided that it wanted to kill Morris while he was getting up, so I had to reload that save. I summoned Magnus as a distraction, and then I used the spell. So I'm not actually sure how long this recording is. But thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.
Very well. Come then. See what I can do now. What was that?
That does not look very good. Is he fighting his own magic anomaly? Come on. Okay. I think he's vulnerable now.